No one believed the signal would matter. In the endless dark of space, thousands of distress calls were sent every cycle. Most of them faded into silence. This one was different. The small alien colony floated near a dying red star. Its stations were old, its shields were weak, and its people were tired. Ships filled with refugees moved slowly between broken habitats. Children clung to walls as warning lights glowed soft blue. They had already lost hope. The enemy came without warning. Dark, sharp vessels sliding out of the void. Their weapons burned through stations like paper. Defense fleets tried to fight, but they were small and slow. The colony leaders gathered in a cold command room. Holograms flickered. Numbers dropped fast. They knew the truth. They would not survive. One elder spoke in a quiet voice. "Send the SOS." Others hesitated. Sending an SOS meant asking the galaxy for help, and the galaxy rarely answered. Still, the signal was prepared. Simple words. "We are under attack. We need help. Anyone." The signal spread across known space. It passed trade hubs, military zones, rich core worlds. Many saw it. Few cared. Some races laughed. The colony was poor. It offered nothing. Others feared a trap. War had taught them caution. Then the signal reached the final category. Deathworlders. Humans. Most species avoided human space. Humans came from a violent world. A world of storms and predators. A world that shaped warriors. Stories about humans were dark. They fight too hard. They do not retreat. They protect their own at all costs. So when the signal entered human networks, alien observers expected silence. Far from the colony, far beyond the core worlds. A deep space relay drifted near a gas giant, old and forgotten. Inside the station, machines hummed softly. No crew walked its halls. Only systems watched the void. Then a small light changed color. Red. The relay woke. Data streamed into its core. The SOS signal decoded. Coordinates confirmed. A quiet message traveled deeper. Through hidden channels. Through locked systems. Through protocols older than most stars. On Earth, the sun rose over cities of steel and glass. Humans moved through daily life unaware. But far beneath the surface, in silent bunkers, ancient systems stirred. A single word appeared on dark screens. SOS. Deep in a command chamber, a human officer paused. His eyes fixed on the message. He had trained for this moment all his life. Yet he hoped it would never come. He stood and spoke softly, routed to command. Within minutes, the human High Council assembled. Faces appeared from across the system. Calm, serious, focused. The signal played. The voice of the alien elder trembled. "We are under attack. We need help." No one spoke at first. Then the oldest human in the room leaned forward. "How long until impact?" "Minutes, maybe less." The room changed. Calm became motion. Orders moved fast. "Activate response protocol." Someone hesitated. "Sir, that protocol has not been used in centuries." The old human nodded. "Exactly." Deep space around Earth shimmered as hidden docks powered up. Vast shapes rested in darkness. Sleeping giants. These ships were not shown in treaties. They were not part of fleets. They were not meant to exist. Human dreadnoughts. Built long ago when humanity fought for survival. When the galaxy first learned to fear Earth. Their hulls were thick. Their weapons precise. Their purpose simple. Answer the call. In one dock, a massive ship began to glow. Energy flowed through veins of metal. Engines hummed awake. Inside the ship, a captain opened his eyes. Cry of sleep faded. Memories returned. The last time he woke. Stars burned. Alarms echoed through the ship. Crew members woke together. Train drilled ready. The captain stood, his voice calm. "Status." An officer answered. "SOS received. Civilian colony under attack." The captain nodded. "Prepare for jump." Across hidden space, other dreadnoughts awakened. One, then another, then many. Alien observers watching human space grew uneasy. Energy readings spiked. Gravitational waves formed. Something was happening. Messages spread in secret channels. Humans are moving. Human dreadnoughts. Panic followed. Near the small alien colony, the battle worsened. Enemy ships closed in. Stations fell silent one by one. The Elder watched the sky through a cracked window. Fire streaked past. Hope was gone. Then space trembled. A deep sound rolled through the void. Not an explosion. Something heavier. Space bent. Light twisted. The enemy fleet paused. Sensors screamed. Something was coming. Back on the human flagship, the captain gave the final order. Jump! Stars stretched. Space folded. The fleet moved. The SOS signal still echoed across the galaxy. Ignored by many. Feared by some. But now it had been answered. And the galaxy was about to remember. Why Deathworlders were never truly alone. In a part 1. The moment the SOS reached human space, the galaxy changed, even if no one understood it yet. Inside the deep human command network, the signal did not stop moving. It passed through layers of silence and security, through systems that had not been touched for hundreds of years. Ancient servers woke one by one, their lights glowing soft white, then red, then steady. On a distant moon hidden under ice, a facility unlocked itself. No alarms, no announcements, just quiet motion. Inside that place, rows of massive shapes slept. Human dreadnoughts, older than most alliances, older than most wars still remembered. The galaxy believed humans had retired these ships, that they were relics, museum myths, stories told to frighten young captains. They were wrong. Deep inside the lead dreadnought, a man named Captain Hale opened his eyes. The cryosleep fog faded slowly. His mind adjusted to gravity, to sound, to duty. The first thing he saw was the command ceiling, dark metal etched with human symbols. The second thing he heard was a voice calm and clear. SOS confirmed. Civilian colony under attack. Priority absolute. Hale closed his eyes for 1 second. Then he stood. Around him, crew members woke at the same time. Men and women trained since birth for a single purpose. To answer a call that might never come. No one panicked. No one asked questions. They moved. The command deck came alive. Screens rose from the floor. Stars appeared. Numbers flowed. An officer named Jax spoke. Enemy fleet estimated at 200 combat vessels. Colony defenses failing. Hale looked at the red star on the display. He had seen stars like that before. Stars that watched worlds burn. He said one sentence. Wake the fleet. Far across hidden human space, massive hangars opened. Energy surged. Old engines breathed again. One dreadnought awakened. Then another. Then another. Each one shook space when its core came online. Gravity bent slightly around them, as if space itself remembered their power. Alien listening posts near human borders detected the surge. Their sensors screamed errors. Mass readings impossible. Energy output beyond limits. Messages spread in panic. Human fleets mobilizing. Unknown class vessels. The Galactic Council dismissed the reports. Humans exaggerate. Humans posture. But smugglers and spies knew better. They had heard whispers. Deathworlders never mobilize without reason. Back at the alien colony, the situation collapsed fast. Enemy ships circled like predators. Their weapons cut carefully, avoiding full destruction. Targeting life support. Targeting communications. They wanted the colony alive, but broken. Inside a shelter, a young alien clutched a data slate. Her mother pulled her close, telling her stories about peaceful stars. Lies meant to calm fear. The elder of the colony stood in the control chamber, watching the last defense timer drop. Every second felt heavier than the last. He whispered, "We tried." Far away, the human dreadnoughts aligned for jump. Hale watched the fleet icons lock into formation. 12 ships, each one a moving fortress. He spoke to all ships at once. Destination set. Protect civilians. Neutralize threat. Simple. Clear. No speech was needed. The jump began. Space stretched into light. Stars became lines. Time felt thin. Inside the jump tunnel, Hale felt the familiar pressure. The feeling that always came before battle. Not fear. Focus. His ship carried memories. Old scars. Old victories. It had been built when humans were alone, when the galaxy tried to erase them. It had survived. It would survive again. The fleet exited hyperspace in silence. The red star filled the view. The colony station barely held together. Fires burned in vacuum. Debris drifted like dead leaves. Enemy ships filled the region. Their formation tight. Their weapons hot. For one heartbeat, nothing moved. Then every enemy sensor screamed. Human dreadnoughts blocked the stars. Their hulls dark and massive. Their presence absolute. Inside enemy command ships panic erupted. Orders collided. Weapons powered. Retreat signals jammed. They had expected prey, not giants. On the human command deck, Hale spoke calmly. Deploy shield wall. A massive energy field expanded, layer upon layer, wrapping the colony station in blue light. Enemy fire struck seconds later and failed. Inside the colony, the shaking stopped. Light stabilized. People looked at each other in disbelief. Someone whispered, "We are not dead." The elder stared at the shield display, symbols he did not understand. But one thing was clear. Someone had answered. Hale opened a channel to the colony. His voice steady. "This is the human fleet. Stay inside the shield. We have you." The elder fell to his knees. The enemy flagship responded next. A long, narrow vessel scarred and sharp. Its voice cold. "Humans, this harvest is sanctioned. Leave." The word harvest echoed through human decks. Crew members stiffened. Jack spoke quietly. "Captain, they're not raiders. They are collectors." Hale felt anger rise, slow and heavy. Collectors were worse than pirates. They took people, worlds, history. He answered the enemy. "You have violated a civilian zone. You are ordered to withdraw." The enemy laughed. "We have taken worlds older than your species." Hale did not raise his voice, and yet it carried weight. "You have 30 seconds. Enemy ships shifted. Weapons locked on the human wall. Stealth signatures appeared among debris. Jax reported fast. "They are flanking. They want one of us." Hale understood the trap. They wanted a dreadnought. Its technology. Its power. He allowed himself a thin smile. Wrong prey. He gave orders. Drone net full deployment. Rear shields double. Target stealth craft. Thousands of human drones burst from bays. Moving like thought. Fast, silent, precise. Enemy stealth ships revealed themselves too late. Human fire cut them apart. Still, Hale did not fire main weapons. He waited. Enemy ships opened full barrage. Beams and missiles slammed into the human wall. Space burned. The shields held. Inside the colony, children watched blue light dance outside windows. Fear turned to awe. The enemy flagship charged its core weapon. Energy building like a second star. Jack said, "Captain, they will fire." Hale nodded. "Then we end this." He raised his hand. Unlock Dread Protocol. Deep inside every human ship, ancient systems came fully online. Weapons older than treaties. Older than fear. Energy gathered. Controlled. Absolute. Hale spoke, "One final warning. This is your last chance." The enemy fired instead. The beam struck the human shield and shattered against it. Hale lowered his hand. Fire. Space lit with human response. And the galaxy learned. Deathworlders do not come to harvest. They come to protect. The first human volley did not explode like normal weapons. It moved in silence. Thin lines of pale light crossing the void. So precise that enemy sensors failed to track them. Enemy ships vanished one by one. Not breaking apart. Not burning. Simply gone. The enemy fleet hesitated. Confusion spread through their ranks. Their formations broke as captains shouted orders that contradicted each other. Inside the human flagship, Captain Hale watched the results without emotion. He had seen this before. Long ago. In a war no one remembered. Jack spoke softly. Enemy outer line collapsing. They did not expect this level of control. Hale answered. They never do. The enemy flagship remained. Its massive core weapon still glowing. Its hull scarred but intact. It pulled back slightly, hiding behind smaller ships. Inside the colony station, people stared through viewports, watching shapes disappear. Fear slowly turned into disbelief. A child asked, "Are those gods?" The elder answered quietly, "No, they are worse for our enemies." On the human deck, Mira from a support dreadnought sent a priority feed. Captain, new data from drones. Enemy boarding teams inside the colony. Hale clenched his jaw. How many? 20 teams. Moving toward population shelters. The enemy had not given up. Even as their fleet died, they still hunted civilians. Hale opened a private channel. Deploy internal support units. Protect the colony. No civilian losses. Acknowledgement echoed back. From human ships, smaller craft launched. Not fighters, but armored drop vessels, designed for enclosed combat. They cut through space toward the colony, slipping through shield corridors open just for them. Inside, the colony corridors shook as enemy boarders advanced. Their forms tall, thin-armored. Weapons grown, not built. Their eyes cold. They moved with purpose. Harvest teams. One boarding leader spoke to his squad. Take them alive. The flesh is valuable. They breached a shelter door. Then the lights changed. White instead of red. The air pressure shifted. A deep vibration passed through the walls. The enemy paused, confused. The ceiling split open, metal folding back. Human soldiers dropped down. They were taller, broader. Their armor dark and simple. No markings, no symbols. One human raised his weapon and spoke one sentence. Step away from the civilians. The enemy leader laughed. You are too late, Deathworlder. The human did not answer. He fired. The corridor filled with controlled thunder. Enemy bodies fell, not screaming, not fighting. The remaining boarders tried to retreat. Human soldiers advanced without hurry, without rage. It was not anger driving them. It was duty. Inside another shelter, an elderly alien hid under a console. He watched a human kneel beside a shaking child, lowering his weapon, placing his body between the child and danger. The human said softly, "You are safe." The words meant nothing to the alien language, but the tone did. Back in space, the enemy flagship made its move. It detached sections of its hull, releasing dozens of smaller attack vessels. Each one aimed directly at the human dreadnoughts. Suicide craft. Jax reported. They are rushing the line. If they reach our hulls. Hale finished the thought. They will try to breach. Hale spoke to the fleet. Intercept. Do not let them touch us. Human point defense systems came alive. Thousands of micro cannons firing, cutting the void into patterns of light. Enemy suicide craft detonated harmlessly far from the human hulls. But 3 slipped through. Alarm sounded. Impact on Dreadnought 7. Minor breach. Hale felt the loss like a cut. Report. Dreadnought 7 responding. Boarding detected. Internal defense active. Inside that dreadnought, dark corridors echoed with movement. Enemy shapes crawled through ruptured hull plating. Their weapons ready. Human internal defense units waited in silence. As the enemy rounded a corner, the corridor lights turned on. Human soldiers stood in rows. Weapons raised. The enemy hesitated for the smallest moment. That moment was enough. The corridor filled with fire. In space, the enemy flagship turned away. Its engines burning hard. It tried to flee. Hale watched its trajectory. They are running. Jax asked. Permission to pursue. Hale nodded. They will not escape. The human fleet moved as one, not chasing wildly, but closing the net. The enemy flagship fired one last desperate weapon. A gravity pulse meant to tear ships apart. Space twisted. Stars bent. Human dreadnoughts slowed, but did not break. Their hulls were built for worse. The pulse faded. The enemy flagship lost power. Its engines flickered. Hale, open a channel. Your fleet is destroyed. Your borders eliminated. Surrender. The enemy voice answered weak. We will never submit. Hale looked at the colony display. Life signs stabilizing. No new civilian losses. He felt a quiet relief. He answered the enemy calmly. Then you will be remembered. Human weapons charged again. Not in anger, but in finality. The enemy flagship vanished in a controlled burst, its core collapsing inward, leaving nothing but drifting fragments. Silence followed. No enemy signals. No hostile movement. Only the Red Star, the damaged colony, and the human fleet. Inside the colony, cheers erupted. Some cried. Some laughed. Some simply sat in shock. The elders stood slowly, watching the human ships hold position. Not celebrating. Not boasting. They stayed. Guarding. Hale ordered. Maintain shield. Begin medical aid. Prepare evacuation support. Jack smiled slightly. The galaxy will hear about this. Hale shook his head. They always hear too late. Far away, galactic sensors finally caught up. Reports flooded in. Entire enemy fleet destroyed. Human dreadnoughts confirmed. Panic spread through councils and empires. Old fears returned. Inside the human flagship, Hale stood alone for a moment, watching the colony recover. He knew this was not the end. Collectors did not act alone. Someone had sent them. Someone would come asking questions, and humanity would answer those too. The dreadnoughts held their silent watch, guardians in the dark. And across the galaxy, a new truth spread quietly. If you send an SOS, and humans hear it, they will come. Silence after battle felt heavier than the battle itself. Space around the colony was calm but tense. Human dreadnoughts stayed in position like dark moons, their shields still active, their weapons ready. Inside the colony, relief moved slowly. People did not cheer loudly. They were afraid the nightmare might return. Medical teams moved through broken corridors. Human medics walked beside alien healers. No words were shared, only purpose. Children stared at humans with wide eyes. These beings were real, not legends, not monsters. The elder watched from a viewport. The human ships did not leave. They waited. On the human flagship, Captain Hale stood at the command table. The battle was over, but his instincts told him danger remained. Jack spoke, long-range sensors picking up faint signals. Not military, encrypted bursts. Hale frowned. Source, unknown, coming from beyond the outer system. Someone was watching. The collectors had not acted alone. Their technology was too advanced. Their coordination too precise. Hale knew the truth. A greater force had tested humanity, and now that force knew humans still had teeth. He opened a secure channel to the fleet. All ships remain alert. No power down. We expect company. Deep in alien territory far from the Red Star, a massive structure drifted in darkness. Not a ship, not a station, something older. Its surface looked smooth like stone. Veins of light pulsed slowly. Inside, its core shapes moved in shadow. Figures watched the data streams. Human dreadnoughts. Collector fleet destroyed. Civilian colony protected. One figure spoke. Deathworlders. Another answered. They were not meant to respond. The first figure turned. Adjust the plan. Back near the colony, a new signal appeared. Weak. Fragmented. Mirror reported. Captain, incoming transmission. Origin unknown. Not hostile. Hale nodded. Open it. The image flickered. An alien face appeared. Tall, thin eyes glowing pale blue. I am Envoy Seraph. From a neutral rings. We detected the battle. Hale studied the envoy. Neutral rings were known observers. Rarely interfered. Seraph continued. The collectors were not acting alone. They saw something older. Hale replied. We suspected as much. Seraph hesitated, then spoke. The harvest was a test, to see if humans still protect. Hale felt a slow, cold anger. A test using civilians. He answered, tests like that have consequences. The envoy bowed slightly. We warned them. They did not listen. Hale ended the transmission. Jax looked uneasy. Surf and neutral rings know. Others will too. Hale nodded. Good. He turned to the tactical display. Zooming out. Seeing trade routes. Hidden paths. Ancient systems. Someone would come. Curious. Afraid. And humans would not hide. Inside, the colony engineers worked with human teams. Repairing life support. Restoring shields. A human officer knelt beside the elder. Repairs will take time, but you will survive. The elder asked, why did you come? The human answered simply, you asked. The elder closed his eyes. The galaxy will never forget this. The human said, we do not need it to. Suddenly alarms rose again. Not combat alarms. Detection alarms. Mira shouted. Multiple hyperspace signatures. Large mass. Unknown configuration. Hale straightened. Numbers. At least 5. Bigger than collector ships. Space around the colony shimmered. Massive shapes emerged. Smooth dark. Covered in glowing lines. Not collectors. Something else. The ships formed a distant line. Not attacking. Watching. A transmission followed immediately. This is Overseer-class vessel. Human fleet, identify yourselves. Hale responded calmly. This is human fleet. You are in protected space. The Overseer replied. You have interfered in a sanctioned harvest. This requires explanation. Hale laughed softly. Harvest of civilians is not sanctioned by us. The Overseer paused. Humans do not hold authority here. Hale answered. We hold authority where we stand. Tension filled the void. The Overseer's ships powered weapons, but did not fire. They were unsure. They had not expected Dreadnoughts. Hale opened fleet-wide channel. Hold position. Do not provoke. He knew this moment mattered. Fire now, and war would begin. Wait, and the truth would surface. The Overseer envoy appeared on screen. Tall, calm, emotionless. Humans your kind vanished from conflict centuries ago. Why return? Hale answered. We never left. We just stopped being needed. The Overseer eyes narrowed. You disrupt balance. Hale replied. Balance built on slaughter is not balance. Silence followed. Inside the Overseer fleet calculations ran. Loss probability. Unknown weapons. Human resolve. Too many variables. The envoy finally spoke. This matter will be escalated. Hale nodded. Do that. The Overseer's ships slowly backed away. Their jump drives warming. Before leaving, the envoy said, Others will not be so patient. Hale answered. We will still be here. The Overseer fleet vanished in a hyperspace. Inside the human fleet, a quiet breath was released. But Hale did not relax. He knew what that meant. The galaxy had noticed. Order spread. Deploy long-term protection grid. Establish aid corridor. Record everything. Humans did not hide what they did. News traveled fast. From core worlds to outer rim. Story spread. Deathworlders saved a colony. Human dreadnoughts destroyed collectors. Overseers withdrew. Fear returned to old empires. Hope returned to small worlds. On Earth, people finally learned. Feeds showed distant stars. Damaged stations. Human ships guarding them. No celebration. No speeches. Just action. Hale watched a live feed of human engineers rebuilding alien homes. He felt something rare. Pride without arrogance. Jack said, Sir, messages coming in. Other colonies. They are asking. Hale closed his eyes briefly. Asking for help. He opened them and spoke. Log all requests. We will answer what we can. Jax looked surprised. Sir, that could mean many. Hale nodded. I know. Outside, the dreadnoughts shifted slightly, forming a wider defensive arc. Not an invasion. Not an occupation. A promise. Far away in the dark, ancient beings watched new data. Humans had returned. Not as conquerors, but as guardians. This was unexpected and dangerous. Plans were rewritten. Alliances reconsidered. The galaxy was entering a new age. And it began with one truth. Deathworlders do not answer every call. But when they do, everything changes. The galaxy did not sleep after the Overseers withdrew. It watched, listened, and waited. Human dreadnoughts remained around the colony like silent mountains. Their presence heavy, their silence louder than threats. Inside the colony, something changed. Fear was still there, but it was no longer alone. Human engineers reinforced hulls, patched power lines, rebuilt habitats piece by piece. They worked without speeches, without cameras, without pride. Aliens watched them with confusion. These were Deathworlders, the monsters of galactic stories. Yet they repaired homes. They carried injured civilians. They stood guard through long, quiet hours. Captain Hale stood in Observation Base 7, watching a human medic gently wrap the arm of an alien child. The child did not pull away. Jax joined him. Sir, long-range scans are clear, but encrypted traffic is rising everywhere. Hale nodded. They're talking about us. Jax hesitated. Some councils are afraid. Others are asking questions. Hale answered. Let them. Deep in human command space, messages arrived in waves. Distress calls, requests, warnings, small colonies, trade convoys, forgotten worlds, all asking the same thing. Will humans answer? On Earth, leaders argued quietly. Resources were not endless. Dreadnoughts were powerful but few. But Hale already knew the truth. Once humanity answered one call, they could not ignore the others. Inside a distant alien empire far from the Red Star, a council chamber glowed with cold light. Ancient beings sat in a circle. Their forms varied, their age impossible. One spoke. The Deathworlders have returned. Another replied. They are not conquering. A third hissed. That makes them worse. They watched recordings. Collector ships erased. Overseer fleets retreating. Human soldiers shielding civilians. Patterns emerged. Humans did not seek territory. They sought responsibility. The council understood something dangerous. Humans could unite the weak. That could not be allowed. Orders were given. Not open war. Not yet. Pressure instead. Economic blocks. False accusations. Proxy attacks. The galaxy would test the humans again. Back at the colony, the first false signal arrived. Mira reported. Captain unidentified fleet approaching. Broadcasting humanitarian aid codes. Hale frowned. Aid codes from who? Mira shook her head. Unknown registry. Hale felt unease. Send drones. The drones moved silently. Scanning hulls. Scanning cargo. The truth appeared quickly. Weapons hidden beneath false plating. Soldiers disguised as medics. A trap. Hale opened a channel. This is human fleet. Identify your command authority. The reply came smooth. We are here to help. Hale answered. No, you are here to provoke. The ships did not stop. Hale gave a single order. Escort them out. Do not fire unless fired upon. Human cruisers moved, positioning carefully, blocking approach. The disguised fleet hesitated, then retreated. Messages spread fast. Humans do not attack aid ships, but they see through lies. Another test failed. Days passed. Then weeks. The colony began to recover. Shields stronger. Stations brighter. Aliens returned to work. To trade. To life. Human ships still remained. Some aliens asked, when will you leave? A human officer replied, when you no longer need us. Hope grew dangerous. Across the galaxy, smaller worlds began sending SOS signals directly to human space. Some real, some false. Humans learned quickly. They filtered. They verified. But they did not ignore. This frightened the powerful. One night cycle, an alert echoed across the human fleet. Jax rushed to Hale. Sir, massive energy spike detected. Far side of the system. Hale turned. Show me. Space rippled. Not hyperspace. Not jump. Something deeper. A structure unfolded from nothing. Larger than any ship. A moving fortress. Ancient. Alive. The overseers had returned. But not alone. This was their core vessel. The Harvester Prime. Its presence crushed sensors. Its gravity warped trajectories. Mira whispered, that thing could crack a planet. Hale felt the weight settle. This was the answer to human defiance. The Harvester Prime broadcast. Humans, you interfere again. This ends now. Hale replied calmly. You are in protected space. The Harvester responded. You protect what you do not own. Hale answered. We protect life. The Harvester charged weapons. Human dreadnoughts aligned instantly, forming a layered wall. Shields overlapping. Energy built. Stars dimmed. Inside the colony, panic returned. People fled to shelters. Human soldiers stood at entrances, unmoving. The Harvester fired. A beam wider than cities struck the human wall. Space screamed. The shields bent, but did not break. Human hulls groaned, but held. Hale felt the strain ripple through his ship. Report. Jax answered. Shields at 60%, but holding. The Harvester fired again. Hale knew this could not last. He opened fleet-wide channel. Prepare. Final protocol. A word no human wanted to hear, but all were ready for. The Dreadnoughts shifted formation. Power rerouted. Cores pushed beyond safe limits. Mira looked at Hale. Sir, this will expose everything. Hale nodded. Let them see. Deep inside human ships, ancient systems unlocked fully. Not weapons, but memories, records, truth. Human history broadcast outward. Wars, losses, extinction threats. The galaxy watched, not through words, but through feeling. They felt human fear, human loss, human refusal to abandon each other. The Harvester paused. Its systems hesitated, never designed to process empathy. Hale spoke into the silence. You harvest because you fear unity. We protect because we survived it. The Harvester fired one final time. Hale raised his hand. Now, human dreadnoughts responded together, not with raw destruction, but focused, overwhelming force. The Harvester core destabilized, its ancient systems tearing themselves apart. Space twisted. Light collapsed. The Harvester Prime vanished. Shock waves rolled outward, but human shields absorbed them. Silence returned. Slow, heavy. The overseers were gone, this time completely. Inside the colony, people felt it. A weight lifting. Hale lowered his hand. Systems easing. Jax whispered, Sir, they are gone. Hale closed his eyes, for the first time since waking from cryosleep. But he knew this was not victory. It was a message. To the galaxy, Deathworlders had chosen a side, and that choice would reshape everything. Human ships held position, steady, watchful, because after Part 5, one truth became clear. The galaxy would never be the same. And of Part 5, the galaxy felt different after the Harvester Prime vanished. Not louder, not brighter, but awake. News did not travel like it used to. It did not rush through channels. It crept, quiet, careful. Powerful empires delayed statements. Councils postponed meetings. Ancient species retreated into silence because the old rules no longer worked. Around the Red Star, the human dreadnoughts still held their watch. They did not celebrate. They did not announce victory. They stayed. Inside the colony, the people finally slept without fear. For the first time since the attack, the lights stayed steady. The air stayed warm. The walls did not shake. Human soldiers rotated guard shifts. Human engineers completed repairs. Human medics treated the last injured. No one asked for thanks. Captain Hale stood on the outer observation deck, watching the colony drift peacefully inside the shield field. He felt older, but lighter. Jax joined him. Sir, long-range scans show no hostile movement anywhere near us. Hale nodded. They are thinking. Jax hesitated. Sir, Earth is requesting an update. Full strategic assessment. Hale answered. Tell them the truth. Jax looked surprised. The truth, sir. Hale said. Yes. Tell them the galaxy is afraid. And afraid things make mistakes. Far away on Earth, leaders listened in silence. They saw the feeds, the damage, the saved lives, and they understood. Humanity could not return to hiding. The call had changed them. Messages began to arrive. Not threats, not demands, requests. A mining world lost to pirates. A refugee convoy trapped between borders. A medical station cut off by embargo. Some calls were small, some desperate. Each one carried the same weight. SOS. Human command debated again. Resources, limits, risk. But Hale sent a private message. To the Council. If we choose who deserves help, we become what hunted us. The Council went quiet. Then approval codes flowed. The human fleet would not expand, but it would answer. Not everywhere, not always, but when it mattered. Back near the colony, a final transmission arrived. From the Elder. Humans, we do not know how to repay you. Hale replied. You already did. The Elder asked. How? Hale looked at the colony. Alive? Free. You reminded us why we built the Dreadnoughts. The human fleet began a shift. Not retreating, not leaving, reorganizing. Some ships powered down. Others prepared to depart. Hale spoke to his crew. Some of us will stay. Some of us will go. There are other calls. No one objected. The Dreadnoughts separated slowly, each ship choosing a path. Guardians spreading through the dark. The lead Dreadnought remained a moment longer, watching the red star. Then it too turned. As it prepared to jump, Hale felt something new. Not fear, not duty, hope. Across the galaxy, reactions followed. Small worlds whispered human names with relief. Trade guilds rewrote routes. Pirate clans vanished into hiding. Ancient overseer archives were sealed. Harvest protocols erased. Not because humans ordered it, because no one wanted to test them again. But fear was not the final result. Respect grew. Stories changed. Deathworlders were no longer monsters. They were shields. On a distant world, a child asked a teacher, "What are humans?" The teacher answered carefully, "They come from a world that tried to kill them and failed." The child asked, "Are they dangerous?" The teacher smiled sadly. "Only if you threaten someone they protect." Back aboard his ship, Hale prepared for cryosleep. His duty complete. For now, as he lay down, he recorded a final log. If anyone ever asks why humanity returned, tell them this. We did not come to rule. We did not come to conquer. We came because someone called, and no one else answered. The Dreadnought slipped into hyperspace, its engines humming softly, not like a weapon, but like a promise. Far across the stars, new lights flickered. Human response relays activating. Watching, listening, waiting, because the galaxy had learned its final lesson. Deathworlders do not seek war, but when the call is sent, they will arrive, and they will not be ignored.